Some inventions were so far ahead of their time. The world simply wasn't ready. Imagine a nuclear-powered car you'd never have to refuel. A giant rolling wheel you could actually drive. Or a video phone, in the 1960s. These weren't science fiction. They were real, they worked, and then they vanished. Today, we're counting down 5 forgotten creations from the 20th century that could have changed everything, if only they'd survived. In a century bursting with innovation, not every great idea made it to the finish line. Some were too expensive, some were too strange, and some were simply too far ahead of their time. From transportation breakthroughs to communication marvels, these inventions tell a story of ambition, imagination, and the fine line between genius and failure. Let's rewind the clock and see what the world left behind. At number 5, the Dynasphere. Picture a massive single wheel big enough to sit inside, rolling down the street with you at the controls. Invented in the early 1930s, it promised a futuristic, fuel-efficient ride unlike anything else. But there was a catch. Steering was awkward, turning corners was a nightmare, and stability. Well, let's just say it wasn't its strong suit. Despite its flaws, the Dynasphere remains one of the most visually striking vehicles ever built. Number 4, Pneumatic Tube Transport. You've probably seen the small version in old banks, zipping documents from one counter to another. But in the mid-1900s, some engineers dreamed of scaling it up to carry people across cities. Imagine stepping into a capsule, being whisked through a sealed tube at incredible speeds, and arriving in minutes. It was fast, clean, and futuristic. But as cars and highways took over, the dream of tube travel quietly faded away. Number 3, the Telautograph. Think of it as the ancestor of the fax machine, but cooler. Invented in 1907, it could transmit your handwriting over telegraph wires in real time. Offices used it to send signatures, diagrams, and notes instantly, a marvel for its day. But as the telephone became more common, the Telautograph's popularity dwindled. Today, it's a fascinating glimpse at how people once imagined instant communication. Number 2, the Ford Nucleon. In 1958, Ford unveiled a concept car powered not by gasoline, but by a miniature nuclear reactor. The idea was bold: drive for years without refueling. The design looked like something straight out of a sci-fi comic, with a sleek body and a reactor pod at the back. But the technology to make it safe and affordable simply didn't exist. The Nucleon never went beyond the model stage, but it remains one of the most daring automotive concepts ever imagined. And at number 1, the Picturephone. Long before Zoom calls and FaceTime, AT&T launched a video phone service in 1964. It worked. You could see and hear the person on the other end. But it was expensive, bulky, and people weren't ready to be on camera for every conversation. The service flopped, but the idea lived on. Decades later, video calling became an everyday reality, proving the Picturephone was simply ahead of its time. These inventions prove that being first doesn't always mean winning. Sometimes the world just isn't ready for a great idea. But who knows? Maybe some of these concepts will make a comeback in the future. Which one would you bring back? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more strange, fascinating countdowns.